That's what she said.
Well, Chris and Dan Show peeps, it's yet another podcast episode. By the way, we're sponsored by Life Boost. As you can see, myself and Chris, we're Life Boost ambassadors of health. Joey's probably drinking some poison.
I know this is coffee, actually.
Yeah. So Life Boost, all right, the link is underneath. It's got probiotic. What I'm drinking is bifidobacteria in your cold brew, which most Americans living in a Western civilization are deficient in bifidobacteria. Forget about the VACCINE for depleting bifidobacteria, but like just our food itself. So this, I found a cold brew, and we fucked around and found out, and we actually had the founder on our show, and they made me and Chris Life Boost ambassadors. So here it is. The link is underneath this video. All right, they gave us, and we get a small piece of the action. They made us affiliates, but it's the same price as if you would buy without us.
Let's go.
They gave me a welcome packet. They gave me a little book where I could write down names of like who needs to be on my blacklist right now, for like, so that we don't mess with you. We don't F with you.
List.
It's a green list, but inside it's black. Like these are names I'm crossing off. Like, no, I'm not dealing with you. So Life Boost
in the book.
Yeah, Life Boost. We're not doctors, okay, but we've got the prescription for you.
How many names are in the book?
None so far. I just got it.
Okay.
I'm not that toxic. Like there might not be anyone this year.
Okay.
You know, that's my goal. But I got 200 pages.
There's going to be a Netflix documentary about you.
Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Speaking of which, so what's been new, guys? You guys both have YouTube channels. Chris has a Corvette channel, which he's scared to upload on. Joey's got a real estate one, which he's doing some stuff.
Wait, Chris, have you posted?
No, it hasn't. I haven't started the channel just yet. I have plenty of videos. I've made probably a dozen now, but
good for you.
Need to get to uploading.
Chris is one of the YouTubers.
When is it going to get up?
Yeah,
get it up.
You guys really want to talk about Cialis, don't you?
Joey does.
I feel like Joey's just speeding up this intro to get to that. Get to the good stuff, man. The PDE5 inhibitors, phosphodiesterase 5.
About real estate in the market.
How does real estate and Cialis fit together? I think there's actually like, I mean, when you show homes, right? You're like, this is where all the magic happens, guys. And then you can, like the master bedroom.
$1 million listing. I could see like an advertisement there, or like Chris.
Didn't you walk in on a couple as a realtor in Laguna Beach, like a homosexual couple?
I didn't.
Oh,
right.
Tell us that story.
I didn't, but one of my friends, just like you did, or somebody in the office. Okay, so I'll tell the story. One of my realtor friends, it was actually a lease that they just signed the lease, and he was leasing the property in Laguna to a tenant. And at the time, I think it was like $6,000 or $8,000 a month, which was a lot. It's still a lot, but that was a lot 6 years ago. They signed paperwork, but the tenant hadn't moved in until my friend, who's a realtor, was going to like remove the lockbox and all that kind of stuff. And he opened the door, and the tenant that again shouldn't have moved in yet was there, already moved in. I don't know how that happened. And it was two dudes. One was older, one was much younger, by the way, Laguna, and walked in on a situation.
Wonder which one.
We saw packed everywhere. Anyway, so that's a good start to. Oh, can you hear me?
Yeah, I didn't know if you guys could hear me. I wonder which one was paying the rent.
Chris got the low-key humor.
For sure, the younger guy.
For sure, the younger one. Okay.
Damn.
For sure. Yeah. I'm joking.
Well.
Anyways, but
that's a good segue into Cialis.
Chris, you're starting your stuff. You think so? By when should we all be expecting your stuff on the market? On the line.
Well, Chris is gone. I don't know what happened.
Yeah, but Chris says goodbye. Anyways, but yeah, we look forward to seeing Chris's channel coming on. Cool.
He bought a Corvette C8, I believe. Have you seen it? It's like
that was a couple years ago.
No, but that's his yellow one. That's the 50th anniversary. He got the brand new 2023 C8, black
Chris, you
on
did?
black. Yeah, Chris. Forget the
Yeah.
Shire behind you, man. Put your freaking
I
Corvette.
did
What are
not
you
know
doing?
that.
Hello?
Let's go.
Chris, we can hear you, man.
Oh,
You don't
dang.
have your
We
We
headphones.
can hear you.
A yellow box around me.
But
when
this
I
is
talk.
exactly why we need Cialis.
This is why we need Cialis. Maybe some Namenda. Chris,
Hey,
Yeah.
so you can't hear me right now?
we
Oh,
can
nice.
hear you. Joey's
Yeah.
AirPods are causing a delay of the green box shifting back and forth, but it's nothing that
You think so?
this podcaster hasn't seen
I
before.
can take them off.
Hey, that's kinky. But yeah, please do. So Chris does have the new C8, so he's got a Corvette channel, which he has yet to upload, but he will. He'll batch. It's probably smarter to do that. Like, wait till you have 10 videos and then I'll upload them all at once.
Why?
I don't know. I've never done that, but I feel
You
like
can be consistent.
you're consistent, but you also will like have a catalog. So if someone randomly stumbles on your channel, they don't just see one video and say, "Oh, I'm not subscribing." You know, they're gonna see 10 and be like, "Okay,
that's
this
a good
guy's
point.
worth it." I've never done that. I always
Yeah.
just upload and I don't think
Right.
about
That's
subs.
what I have done. Yeah.
I don't actually think about subscribers, especially not for this channel either. Like Chris and Dan show, this is just like our exploratory forage into the wilderness and see what berries we pick.
Hopefully never poison.
Well, you guys are picking lots of berries.
Yeah, dingleberries. But Joey, what's been new,
That's
man?
fine, most tasty.
So what do you want to talk about?
Yeah.
Cialis, Corvettes, or the economy? Or we can go a number
I think
of ways.
a little bit about everything. Yeah. But yeah, real estate. So you guys are getting pre-approved. So I mean, why don't we start there?
Not impressed with the lender whatsoever.
Yeah, horrible lender.
Yeah.
This lender thought, well, we don't want to like humble brag on the video, but they don't know what they're doing when it comes to AGI. They don't it's clear they never worked with business people.
Yeah.
I see.
This dude said this, so I got on the phone. I'm gonna humble brag a little here, Dan. So got on the phone with this dude, the manager of the mortgage lender. Okay. So not some Joe Schmo at the bottom, right? Not somebody new. This guy's the manager. So he should know what the hell's going on.
Okay.
And he says to me, I don't think we're gonna be able to get you guys qualified. And I was like,
oh,
really? Why? Right. And I was legitimately wondering why. I thought maybe because I did, like Dan had said, I just bought a C8 Corvette. So I thought maybe that had something to do with it. I legitimately thought there was an issue. And he said, well,
well,
I know you guys run businesses and there's all kinds of interesting ways to do your taxes. It's just you guys don't show enough income. And I said, both of us? And he's like, yeah. And I said, okay, well, what are you showing?
I know that's not right.
I said, what are you showing? And he said, yeah, the two of you, one of you earns somewhere closer to $2,000 a month and the other one is closer to $3,000 a month. And he didn't tell me which one, right? And I said, dude, there is no way that's just absolutely, and now I'm kind of pissed because we've been dealing with these people back and forth for quite some time,
like 2 months.
And I'm like, I can't believe these people are responsible for giving out loans when they can't do simple math or even just read.
Yeah, seriously.
So I said to him, and here's where I'm not going to say the numbers, but I said, dude, I paid like 3 times that dollar amount in taxes last year. Right, to the federal government. So you're telling me the federal government's taking all my money for the year's income plus the next 3?
Right.
I mean, pull your head out. I mean, I was literally pissed at this dude.
Yeah.
And he was like, wait, I'm not trying to insult you in your income. I was like, no, you're not hearing me.
You know what?
No, you're just not doing math.
As someone who dabbled in real estate, not like Joey, but I was a realtor. I did work with a few brokers. I bought a few properties, refinanced. Like, I have some experience with these guys. These guys are fast. They want like easy cookie cutter stuff. Like they want W2. Yeah. They want something W2. Simple, especially for this price point we're buying. They're used to like first time home buyers or like just a young family.
That's right.
They're not used to like people with 10
again,
LLCs.
This is in the greater Dallas area.
Yep. And so they're not going to make that much off of it anyway. So in a way, he's semi saying, "Hey, I'm not going to put a lot of work into this. Like, I'd rather
Right.
just get someone's W-2 and make it quick, like, than to spend hours going through like all these forms and figuring out like where
Right.
these 11 LLCs connect." And I mean, that's like they're used to
Right.
doing that at higher price homes. So we found someone that's like lazy, I think, and
Well,
trying to
Yeah.
let us go.
Yeah.
that
I think
makes
so
sense,
too.
Dan. But really, in order for him to have a better understanding, all he had to look at was our net income on our taxes and what we paid in taxes.
You'll be amazed, man. Ask Joey. He deals with
That's
these
all he had
guys
to
every
look
day.
at.
He deals with these kind of people every day. Am I not on the right track, Joey?
Dude. Yeah, no, I mean, I won't get into stories, but I have a laundry list of stories just like this. That it's just, and you know, what's the funny thing is, anytime I see a sales manager at a lender, like a lender's office, I always have the worst problems with sales managers because they are failed salespeople, and so they're managing salespeople. And so now
Mm.
I don't want to speak to but oddly enough, every time I have to talk with a sales manager of, like my guard goes up because I'm like, you know what, chances are you don't know what you're doing and you're going to F this up.
Sounds like our
But lenders are just like realtors, where, and I think in any high ticket commission and sales, there's going to be a lot of crap and then some good ones. So, you know, that 80-20 rule. And I think that's what the large majority of the experience is going to be, exactly what you're saying. And I'm seeing it more today because, you know, rates are high. It is a little bit harder to qualify, you know, so there's just a little bit more chaos going on. But long story short, what you guys are dealing with isn't new, and you're definitely not the only one right now that's dealing with it. You know, getting a loan or a HELOC loan is a lot of work right now. It's not impossible. It's just what you guys are dealing with is common, unfortunately.
So your rule
So
of
you got to
thumb,
be motivated to continue.
so your rule of thumb there was
You know,
sales manager. So the guy we're dealing with, it says branch manager is his title, not sales manager. Is
yeah,
that any
yeah.
different?
I would
Same
not
thing?
want to talk to him. Yeah, I
Okay.
would not want to talk to him.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
that's my experience thus far, so I agree.
Yeah, I mean, I had
He was
the
basically trying to
worst.
tell us that we don't qualify and like to leave them alone and I think it's because of all the work they have to do. And our CPA did all the
I
work. Me
do
and
think
Chris
you're
got all
right
the
on that
stuff.
too.
Yeah, they're like, yeah, go
Yeah,
somewhere else. We got easier people like at this price point to just get them through like our simple
yeah,
formulas. Our formulas are not simple. You know, someone has to put in some work.
yeah. Yeah.
Whatever.
But again, dude,
First world
transactions
problems.
are down. So it's not, that's true. Yeah. Yeah. Dave, you're right. But transactions are down. And so, you know, they should be hungry hey, okay, if this one's double or triple the work as another one, but it's not like you have 100 of these going on right now, like it was 2 years ago. But yeah, that's what can make it frustrating because, you know, you want to get the financing in order. So now you can go focus on finding the deal because you guys are going to buy another single family home, generally, just like what we did a little over a year ago.
You know what?
Is that right? But just a slightly different location.
What you said about sales manager, I want to like go a little bit further, like maybe double click on that a
Mm-hmm.
little if you want, if you
Mm-hmm.
shall. Let's do a little double clicking action.
Zoom in.
I just talked to a former neighbor of mine who used to be a project manager at Anaheim for Amazon. He was my neighbor in Anaheim and he moved to Austin, Texas, and he said he's a sales manager now. So, and I thought, okay, well, when he told me that, it was just a few days ago, I was like, this guy's not a salesperson. How the
Well,
hell is he a sales manager? But Joey just answered that for me.
just to give
Yeah.
two additional cents, a different perspective. I, my limited experience in true sales, that's not necessarily the case. I could see where that would be the case, like in banking and like mortgage lending and such. But other industries, you have to be a proven salesman to be a sales manager.
That's true.
So what's the difference
That
then?
is true. Not
Why?
in real estate or lenders. Yeah, definitely
Why?
not in real estate or lenders, but you're right with like maybe like car sales.
Yeah.
You're completely true there. You're not going to get the sales manager if you're not killing it at selling cars.
Well,
That's
this
true.
guy works for a B2B tech company, so they sell software as a service, and He manages those kind of people.
My
So,
my guess would be, this is just my guess, you don't necessarily have the personality in, like, say, in real estate to be a salesperson. You don't have that relatable personality, but you do understand what needs, so you can guide people. It's like, uh, what is the expression? Those that can do, those that can't teach, something like that.
Each, yeah.
hey, as
Yeah.
people who own academies, I disagree with that
There's an expression to that
vehemently.
Yeah.
that regard, right? Those who can't teach.
I disagree.
And,
Right.
well, you may disagree, but there's that expression.
No, nah, I'm
Yeah.
just kidding.
Well, I
I'm
think
just
there-
trying to figure
there are
out. Like,
times
I
when
always
that is
thought sales
true.
manager were like ultimate salespeople that they promoted, but Joey's saying in real estate it's the opposite, and I wonder why.
And it
I
might
mean,
just be real estate and mortgage. It literally just might be that. You know, because even in, I hate to say this, but in my office we have sales managers too, like a team leader. Dan, you know about that.
oh yeah,
And honestly, it kind of is the same thing. They're, you know, used to be realtors.
they're not
And they're
hustlers.
tired and burnt out.
Yeah,
Yeah, exactly. They're tired and burnt out, and then they go to, oh, you know what? I'll just manage other realtors, kind of
I'll
thing.
just get a
So,
stable
but I don't
pay
think
and
it's
not
a
have to run around and
yeah,
deal with this lady's concerns about the
right.
window and this guy's concern about the garage and all this nonsense, man. I don't know how you
That's
do
right.
it, Joey, as a realtor, man. I mean,
Yeah,
you know, that shit's not easy.
yeah, and that's one of the most frustrating things is what you just said is, oh, the window, like, you know, I mean, yeah, you and I dealt with a lady in Lake Forest, and yeah, dude, like, sometimes it's an emotional roller coaster, you know, dealing with people that are, you know,
Yeah.
buying or selling a house, and it's, you know, I mean, I've had clients, you know, not buy houses for at least what they tell me over a small little thing on the home inspection, you know, that came up that is completely, like, you know, fixable, but you know, it freaked them out, and it, you know, again, it's their money, you know, but it is, and I was like, really, like that, like that took you off, okay, but this is why I'm investing in the real estate, is getting to what you're kind of going after.
Chris, what's the next topic you want to do? DeSantis announces his candidacy, or do you want to do Cialis? Not
So
related. I think Trump needs the Cialis more, but
you would hope. But I just do a quick reference, or not a reference, but a quick my viewpoint on that announcement. I didn't watch it, but I did.
I listened on Twitter. Biggest ever. It was a historic moment. There was like 8 million people listening to the Twitter space. With
Yeah,
Elon Musk was in there.
and
David
it caused it
Sachs
to
from the
crash,
All In
right?
Pod.
Like a number of
It
times.
caused it to crash because they tried to do it from Elon's account where he was the host, and it didn't work. So they
Okay.
switched it to that guy from the All In Pod, the super red pilled guy, David Sachs.
Yeah.
And it worked with him. And he's got a lot of followers too, but he's not Elon Musk. So it allowed it to like stay open. But they would add more than 7 million if it was Elon's own
Sure.
host. And that just shows you how important social media is compared to traditional media. Like
Oh, yeah.
traditional media is a joke.
I mean, did you see what's
So
going
wait,
on
so
with
catch me up to speed. So
That one, yeah.
did Ron DeSantis actually do his
Announce,
candidacy on
yeah.
Twitter? Did that
Yeah,
already
he
happen?
announced it, and there were rumors that Elon would be the vice president. I don't think that's the case, but I didn't listen to the whole thing. Maybe it is.
No,
I don't.
DeSantis has got
Wow.
Elon's backing.
But did he announce his VP?
Yeah.
No,
No. Okay.
no.
But
Because
some sort
Elon
of
said
cabinet.
like a year ago. Elon said a year ago he's
Hey,
backing.
boys, you guys want to see what a
DeSantis.
2-year-old looks like? Charlie,
Wow.
Chris and Dan.
What up, little
Say
man?
hi.
This is future
Charlie,
podcaster.
this guy. Exactly. This guy, you saw him on YouTube this morning. That's Dan. Remember seeing him on YouTube? Okay, try to say like and subscribe. No. All right,
No. Like and subscribe.
every word he says.
We got to
is,
get him young, man.
no, right now.
Thank you for having
you,
him
son.
click the subscribe button.
That's gonna be my thumbnail.
What were you saying, Chris? Though,
but it was funny. We were on
So,
YouTube, and
yeah.
he saw you, Dan.
so DeSantis did or did not choose a VP yet?
No, not yet. So
Okay.
they don't choose VPs until they win the primary.
Okay.
But
Right, yeah.
but
how
what I
cool
did
is
see-
that he did it on Twitter?
I mean, where
Not
else you gonna do
Fox,
it?
not CNN.
well, why would you do it on Fox?
I mean, dude, that's
Why would you do it on Fox? Fox has
every-
lost half of its audience since firing Tucker.
well, yes and no. I think in a month they'll come back. Where are they going to go?
I disagree. Completely
Yeah,
disagree.
no.
I think Fox has gone totally left. They're totally.
Oh, have at it, guys! I'll just chill and eat some popcorn right now. What?
I will
Fox?
never watch Fox again.
I agree with Chris.
They're completely
Nonsense.
all in on left.
Nonsense. Once they got rid of Tucker, I'm not a biggest Tucker fan, but he's the only one that spoke any semblance of truth on that program.
Did you know that he had the largest viewership?
Right. Yeah.
So he had more Democrats than MSNBC or CNN.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
And
No,
he can do
I
his
did-
own podcast.
No, Tucker
Didn't
was-
Shapiro sign him?
Yeah.
No, Musk did.
Yeah, no, Tucker
Musk
should
signed-
do his own
Tucker-
thing.
Yeah, he's
Honestly, I
starting
think
his
this
own
is the
channel
best thing
on-
that ever
on
happened.
Twitter's gonna look, guys. We can get into like stocks. Twitter's a private company now. It's gonna be public at some point. Elon brought in
Yeah.
this former WEF head, okay, which a lot of people are having issues with. I looked into it. His explanation is she's here because she's an excellent salesperson at getting advertising. I hate advertising. She's not here to silence anyone. If the minute she crosses that line, she's gone.
Well,
He said this.
that's great, but I would also think that he wants balance, which I think that does offer. So if he's bringing on,
It's
if he's
smart.
going to
It's smart.
going to start a channel with Tucker, he's got to show the other side too, which
Yep.
is smart business.
Yep. And Twitter's going to change its name to X, the everything app, where they're going to allow payments. He's following what China's doing with their apps. Chinese apps, forget about the government overlords of everything. If you take that part out, Chinese apps are 10 years ahead of US apps. You can, within the same app, message. It's like Facebook. It's like a text message. It's like a bank. It's like everything within your app.
That is true.
Elon wants to do that, and now he's including podcasting into the app. So Tucker, I didn't know he signed Tucker exclusively, but that's smart, man. As soon as they go public again, I'm gonna get that stock.
Well, I don't know if he
Yeah.
signed.
Well, I mean,
him.
I think with Tucker, I think so with Fox, because we spoke about a couple things there. It sounded like I do think it's the best thing that ever happened to Tucker to be removed from Fox. I mean, he should have just look at Megyn Kelly. Now, I'm not the biggest Megyn Kelly fan, but I mean, dude, look at her now. She has her own podcast, YouTube. I mean, she's making far more than what she was making before, and I think that's exactly what's going to happen to Tucker. But that's interesting that he went to. So he did officially sign with Twitter, Tucker.
No, so Elon is helping him start a channel there. I know Tucker's still on. Fox is very, very. They have him under contract for like 2 more years. They're not letting him out, so he's got to. They're continuing to pay him, right? Even though he's not on their channel, because they don't want him.
Oh.
They don't. Are working for others, right? Because they know he's popular and they know that'll be a problem for themselves. So they're paying him and benching him, basically. And
so he can't produce content for 2 years?
No, but he's trying to figure a way out. Him and Elon are trying to get him out of that contract.
They probably find a loophole in Twitter Spaces because it's not really a podcast yet. That's not a podcast.
Yeah,
but you can treat it like a podcast, right? If you have like regular. And I'm no attorney. They probably have armies of attorneys looking at this, but it's not a podcast platform yet. But if you do like a regular Twitter space, is that considered a podcast? No, maybe not, because it's only exclusively on Twitter. So they're probably trying to figure out. That makes sense to me. I didn't know all the details, but that makes sense to me.
I didn't either.
They probably have like a dozen lawyers working on this.
The whole Tucker leaving Fox, it seems like that had to do with the settlement with Dominion.
was fired.
Now I
He's
don't know.
benched. So
Say again.
So Tucker was benched, right? He hasn't been fired. They've just taken him off the air. They're still paying him as though he were on
Same
the
thing.
air.
Yeah, same thing. Yeah.
So there's rumors. One rumor is, and I actually saw this on Megyn Kelly. There's one rumor that when that settlement was made with Dominion, because Tucker didn't say anything negative about Dominion, but there's rumors that they had a handshake deal with Rupert Murdoch, who owns Fox, and said, we want Tucker gone. And that was part of the deal, along with the payout.
Well, look at so Tucker and what's that guy at CNN? Don Lemon. It's in an hour.
Dude, Elon should sign both of them.
Interesting.
Don Lemon.
Actually, maybe.
Elon should sign them both and make them do their podcast together, like Chris and Dan's show, but like real arguments.
Oh, they would.
Because we agree on most things. Me and Chris agree on like 80% of stuff, but these guys probably agree on like 10% of things.
No,
right.
There are so many previous clips of Don Lemon saying exactly the opposite, and not that long ago, right? I just think he's really fake, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just think he says what needs to be said.
I mean, honestly, he's kind of annoying for me to hear. But if you're a CNN lover, you probably really like that, So okay, maybe
I don't think there are any CNN lovers anymore.
Yeah, I don't think so.
They lost their core audience when they had Trump do the town hall. Like their audience was pissed.
Yeah, what was
Brun
that
sunned
about?
them. He
and then
dunked
the audience
on them.
Was all pro-Trump.
The audience, somebody dropped the ball, and unless they wanted that to make it go viral, like everything's so staged with traditional media, they probably
that's what I thought.
They don't care about their core
they
users.
Just wanted
obviously.
it to go viral.
Yeah, because I mean, you if it's something that important, you're gonna like plant your own audience. But I mean, they do this on freaking. When I was in high school, they took us to one of these talk shows in Hollywood to be in the audience. So they screened all of us.
Mm-hmm.
I forget which show, something that got canceled, but like one of these talk shows where you clap when they tell you to clap, and they like prep you, and then like they interview you before they let you go. So you telling me CNN can't do this for a freaking town hall that's about to get like biggest event of the year?
And they would do that more than any media. Like they would probably pre-screen way more than any. But if Fox were to do that,
so they did on purpose. They did on purpose to alienate, to get ratings, and they don't care about their users. And so who's gonna trust this traditional media anymore after this? Like, so I'm with Chris on that. Like, traditional media sucks. Nobody should watch it. All these stars that they made.
I agree. So what's going to happen? So in the next 10 years, what's going to be the media? Do you think it's going to be something with Twitter and more YouTube? What's your guys' guess?
You still need like a passive. What TV is good for is like put it on a channel when you don't really want to pay attention too much, but you don't want to just like allow YouTube to like just pick your next video and have that pause. So that's what TV is more for, like passive viewing. And I don't know if that's going away anytime soon. So I would love to say people are going to get smart and pull the plug, but that's honestly like when we watch TV, that's what I do at home. Like I'll put it on ESPN when I know I'm not really going to be watching, just to have just something playing. But I don't do YouTube because it's like too sloppy, and there's still ads. There's actually more ads on YouTube because it's like between every video, and they're like 10 minutes.
Dude, that's funny. Yeah, that's right.
And the longer form podcasts I care about, I actually want to be like an active listener, not a passive listener. So TV, there's still a place for that. I call it like kind of like a mindless viewing.
That's a good point.
It's like mindless viewing.
Yeah, but do you think it's going to continue to be a slow death, a decline, like Facebook?
Yeah. Like Facebook, I mean, I haven't been on there.
I don't think it's going to be extinct in 10 years, but I think there's probably going to be half amount of audience.
They'll probably have podcasts. Like I have YouTube TV instead of cable, which is slowly increasing their fees every year to the point where it's basically going to be what cable was. And they already have certain channels. They have the Young Turks channel. So they've already brought in like social media people onto the regular programming, and this is in between CNN and ESPN and all that stuff. So I think you'll see more deals with influencers on major networks, but because the major networks need to find the new stars. Streaming, but the major or live too, but the major networks need to find new stars because the old stars have gotten so big to where the audience only cares about them, and if they're smart, they know they can go to have their own show somewhere, like on their own.
Yeah.
The only issue is can they get out of their contract like Tucker? That's the only issue. So like the traditional media is gonna have to find their new stars and like lock them into like insane contracts, like the artists of the 80s and 90s.
Yeah, right.
Here, let me share my screen. Did you guys see this? This is quite funny. Trump.
Let me allow. Hold on. There you go, Chris.
Trump released.
Let me allow.
Trump released an AI of the Twitter Spaces DeSantis declaration yesterday. Can you see it?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
This is funny.
Hi everyone. Welcome to our Ron DeSantis Twitter Spaces. Is my microphone working correctly? George, can you just can you hear
wow.
Me? Hear you, George. Can you just hold on for a second?
I don't think George knows how to use Twitter.
Hello, can you hear me now?
The devil seems very sensible.
Shut up, George. Can somebody just mute George? Okay, so how are we going to take out Trump, you guys?
Guys from the FBI.
Trump who released this too.
This is a public Twitter space. Everyone can listen in.
God damn it.
This Twitter space, so Governor Ron DeSantis could.
Everyone, just shut the hell up so I can make my announcement, okay? So, everyone in this call is gay.
Apparently, Hitler's talking now. We can't hear it that great, Chris, but we get the gist. Like,
I just wanted to announce that I'm gay. Shut up already.
This is well done, though.
All right.
This is surprisingly well done. So, okay.
Trump released that in after it bombed. But had issues.
So the real issue then is, I mean, to be serious again, if we can, who are you guys rolling with, Trump or DeSantis?
Whoever gets the nomination.
Well, yeah, but before that, that's the safe answer.
Sure. So I think Ron DeSantis probably has better policies. I think more conservative. Yeah, exactly. And that's how Trump's running. He's running that DeSantis is more conservative than him, because Trump has always truly been a moderate. I mean, he was a Democrat for 20 years. Right?
Yeah.
Until they went nuts.
He said that he was right.
Right. He's always been.
You got to look at where he's doing business, right? New York.
He's always been left of center. So
yeah.
The reason I'm attracted to Trump, and I think I slightly favor Trump over DeSantis, is he's going to have vengeance, and people I think will wind up in prison that deserve to be in prison. That's my thoughts.
But that's what he said the last time, and nobody drained the swamp.
No, this is different.
No swamp was drained. The swamp is worse than it's ever been.
This is different.
That's always different.
No, how's it not different, Dan? I don't think you're thinking about it.
What did he say last? Let me ask you something. Simple question. Didn't he run? His whole premise was, "Let me drain the swamp."
Yeah, he was.
And what swamp was drained? It got worse.
Wait. That was his stage, right? Just like he was going to build a wall. Didn't build that either.
I mean, I would
stage presence, right?
Well, he did.
Now he's been subjected. Now he's been subjected to this. They've tried him in court. They've done everything in their power to be a wall in his way, and they've blemished his name.
And he's old, so he don't care.
And he doesn't have to be reelected either.
I mean, you also got to. So I voted for Trump. You know, I think for conservative, Trump is.
Your other channel has just been canceled. I just got news that your other channel has just been canceled.
Let me start over.
Try something else on YouTube. That's gone.
But you got to realize halfway, a little past halfway through his presidency, COVID happened, right? So, I mean, that is something new that nobody has dealt with, number one. I mean, so it's like, yeah, I give him some
He
credit
handled
to
COVID
where
horribly. That's not a good thing.
I don't, you know what? I don't see it that way. I
do.
actually think that he handled it good.
No,
You think Joe
DeSantis
Biden did it
handled.
better?
If you want to take COVID, in my opinion, you can't even talk about COVID if you're running against DeSantis as Trump, because DeSantis said after 2 weeks we're done.
You
with
make
that.
a good
Everything's
point,
open.
but Florida is a state. United States is a country.
DeSantis
You
would have
know,
done the same thing at the level. I mean, on a national level.
I don't know. I don't think he will. I don't think he could.
No,
Now, I
he
do
would have
think,
said, in my opinion, we're done with this. I think, because he would have handled it the same. Why would he handle it any different? I mean, it doesn't matter that it's 50 states. He just doesn't have the authority where he does
Well,
it.
Trump has been accused. One of his biggest, well, I don't know about biggest, but he has a lot of accusations. But that he's in deep pockets with Pharma, like since early on in his career. So he was actually, remember, pushing the vaccine.
Interesting.
Early on.
Yeah, he stopped after everything went back to normal a year and a half ago. And I remember him getting booed at every single rally he had. The audience would boo him when he'd bring up vaccinations. So he's stopped talking about that. But I wouldn't necessarily doubt that man about being in the pocket of Pharma. But I don't think he goes after Pharma. I think he, just again, my personal opinion.
Verbally, he has.
Sure.
I remember in some of the debates, he actually has criticized more than I think we're giving him credit for. So he has talked crap about Big Pharma quite some time. I think that's one of his big pillars he talked about was draining the swamp. So now, did he do anything about it? I don't know. But if you think of it like
he didn't.
Again, I'm not trying to.
Trump is murkier than ever.
Trump. I'm not trying to defend Trump, but you and I, Chris, haven't had we didn't feel this harshly against vaccines until after COVID happened.
Oh, sir.
Now,
that's true for everybody.
What I'm trying to say is, like Trump, hey, vaccines are good. He's trying to get something because again, you gotta analyze the situation with the information we had then. At the very beginning, it was a little bit kind of crazy going on. So I don't blame the man, is what I'm trying to say. Trying to push a vaccine to, we're trying to, we're learning all this new stuff about this, this virus, and we're trying to tame it.
He didn't pivot. He didn't even pivot till way later.
That's my problem with him too. I agree with both of you, right? I agree with you, Joey. I didn't take issue with him promoting the vaccine for the first year.
No, nobody did. I was promoting. I was
but he never forced it. I mean, I actually give him credit. I'm looking back, he never forced, hey, you have to get vaccinated or vaccinated. He just said, if you want to, here it is. So, you know what, dude? I don't have a problem with that. I don't have a problem with that. Now, I have a problem when you tell me I have to get it.
Sure.
That's when I have a
same
problem.
Thing with the mask.
And I don't
That's
remember
my theory.
Trump taking that stance.
That's my stance with masks, too. Like, I wore a mask the other day. I went to a hospital. And I wear a mask because as soon as I walked in, I felt like you could feel like the sickness sometimes. Sometimes it's psychological, but I mean, they had them there and it's totally optional, but I put one on, man. And I still caught something like before. I think it was before because half the time I didn't wear one. And yeah, I mean, I'm not anti-mask. I am anti-mandate, though. I think they should give people like choice. Do you want to wear a mask? Go wear a mask. It shouldn't be this like big of an issue.
So Donald Trump Jr. was asked a few questions about his father recently, who you would think would know him fairly well and his thoughts. And I agreed with everything he said. It's like he just was new to the political scene and didn't realize how he was being manipulated. Trump Jr.
with
says
COVID,
everything.
Yeah.
And he says his dad has a very good idea of what's going on now and how everything is played. When he gets back in, he's not going to listen to anybody. It's just going to be my way or get the fuck out of here.
Okay, I agree. I see. Both are good candidates. Who's better right now the Democrats are pushing Biden, but there's this rumors.
They want to run against Trump.
I can't believe that.
They want to run against. Your question is Trump or DeSantis? They want Trump.
They want Trump, but my nightmare scenario is the Dems are not showing their cards. So there's rumors that they're actually pushing Newsom to maybe be the next nominee.
Yeah,
And Newsom, if you study Newsom, he's campaigning basically on California taxpayer budget. He's going to Florida, talking about what they're doing there. Like, who cares? Run your fucking state instead of doing all this.
So why are you traveling?
I think the Dems are the majority of the deep state. There's a lot of Republican there too, but a lot of it's the Democrat. And he's waiting in line. Like, he's like, I'll do what you say, party. If you want Biden, I'll support. But if you guys not comfortable with him, and I don't know about you, but I'm not, I'm ready. And I want to be next. So I'll do everything to be like loyal. If it means you're going to push Biden one more term, that's okay. I'm here for after. But like, there is a scenario where they push him, and I think he beats Trump. I don't think he beats DeSantis.
Oh, really? Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, got it.
I think Newsom beats Trump.
Maybe. I think it's unpredictable.
That's the scary part, because he is competent, and he's freaking. Well, we can't get banned, but
he's Trudeau Jr.
Yes, but he's competent.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you know what though?
Competent? You mean?
I think even
he's very shrewd.
Most liberals, most Democrats aren't super far left, right? They're not feminist. They're not like that extreme, right? They're a little bit more tamer, in my personal opinion.
Yeah, they're not woke.
And I think Newsom would get destroyed by both Trump or DeSantis. With what, again, if I was Trump or DeSantis, but with COVID shutting schools down, vaccinating kids, dude, he's going to get destroyed. That's one thing that Democrats and Republicans have in common. Don't F with our kids. So you don't F with our kids. And so all that stuff with the school system, and you can pick your gender and stuff, dude, I think either of them are going to steamroll that guy.
That's what we thought last election, and
I was just going to say that. That's what I thought with Biden.
Then they say it's cheating.
If I were the kingmaker, what I would demand is it's a Trump DeSantis ticket, right? And what they push is everything Joey just said. Like Target,
but they hate each other there.
But you see what that doesn't matter. Look at Kamala and Biden; they hate each other too. So you see what's going on at Target, right? With the
woke agenda, and it's like the Bud Light thing.
I was just going to say, Bud Light.
They're pushing. They have tuckable bathing suits for 1-year-olds, right? So you've seen all this, right?
I just saw headlines. I don't know details.
They got a whole section of many other Targets, not all, have a whole section for little toddler LGBTQ stuff, right? I'm gay. I love all kinds of gay stuff. Tuckable bathing suits.
What's a tuckable? What is that?
That's so you can the transgender bathing.
Let me try here. It's
right. It's for boys who they want to look like girls at 1-year-old.
But they like your balls don't even drop till you're 13.
I understand that. It's all about just pushing the agenda, right? Anyhow, getting to a point here. The point of this just came out yesterday, I believe. The person designing this clothes and responsible for marketing at Target is a Satanist, and came out and said, "Listen, this is all about Satan, support of Satan, right? Forget about the LGBTQ. We're pushing Satanism." And this is a person at Target responsible for marketing.
They have that in a not out of context.
It's in a tweet. He announced this on Twitter, right?
Maybe as a joke.
No, not a joke.
I really doubt Target would stand behind this.
Okay, well, they have actual Satanist shirts, support of Satan too, in this section.
Well, hardcore people would say your shirt AC/DC is Satanist.
Why?
Because when I went to junior high Christian school, they were saying you can't wear an AC/DC shirt. It's Antichrist, Devil's Children. They actually banned that shirt.
Or
That
Pokemon
has
cards.
nothing to do with what it means. It's about power.
I know, but I'm saying people can say anything. Like, what's a
Okay.
Satanist shirt? They got pentagram. They got all kinds of designs now. Like, doesn't mean. But this whole thing about
I think the Target thing though, there was, I think it didn't say Satan. It said Satan on a T-shirt or something. Like,
Yes,
so
that's-
it wasn't just a
Yes, man.
AC/DC,
I'm
kind of
trying to
thing.
find it right now.
I think it like literally said Satan and it had a picture of the devil. So,
Yep.
and it was a kid shirt. It wasn't like
Yep.
an adult shirt. Now it could have been photoshopped, but it appeared to be what it was, and which is kind of crazy.
I can't imagine they're selling a lot of those, right? They're Target, just like any other
right?
Target, just like any other big company that's tries to experiment, and they have certain markets where they think these things would work better. I doubt that's in any red state. That's got to be in New York City, San Francisco type of
California,
places, and even there, like at strategic centers. So they're testing this stuff. They probably test. I don't know if they can. Let's see this. Abralenka.
Let's see if they have any Trump hats.
Why did Target hire a Satanist? Available Target stores and on their website. When they approached me to design a range for Pride, I realized that I had an opportunity to create something huge. I was given a chance to make work that would be seen by countless people, and I wanted to ensure that any young people who saw Prowlin in Target would know that who they are is beautiful, purposeful. Satan respects pronouns. Hey, it made me laugh, man. If I were like, look, okay, we can debate.
Go ahead, Dan.
Let me just give you my 2 cents, right? These designers are trying to provoke people like Chris and much worse, who are going to be appalled by this.
Yeah, smart move.
Well, they're doing it in test markets. They didn't expect these things to get out to Daily Citizen, stuff like that. But so it's backfiring because they're a little bit stupid. But it's the fuck around and find out. Like, they fuck around too much, they will find out. But there is that shit is actually kind of funny. Like, when I saw it, if I were gay, I'd be like, I'm gonna buy this and trigger some right wingers.
Here again, I don't think you're seeing the whole agenda, right? So again, they're pushing this on toddlers. Okay.
That looked like a teenager. That looked like an adult teenager shirt.
That is.
You don't mess with kids.
It is. So back to the Trump DeSantis thing. They're pushing this on toddlers. They have a whole department, a whole section, and most of them at the front of the store for children, toddlers, not like 17-year-old children. We're talking under 5.
That's crossing the line.
Yeah, that they're pushing you need to be gay.
Like, come on.
Okay.
Have you guys been to West Hollywood?
Or
don't care about West Hollywood. It can go to hell like the rest of these people will.
Right. But if you owned a Target in West Hollywood, I mean, take religion aside, right?
Children.
You would sell these things to cater to the parents. Do you ever see things they sell for dog owners, for their dogs? Dogs don't give a shit if the toy's funny or not.
Well, Joey and I are both
shaking our heads.
You don't have.
I know we're talking about children. I know,
so
but they're not doing this.
Themselves.
They're not going to do this in Coto de Casa. But they're not going to do this in Coto de Casa or Corona. They're doing it in West Hollywood, where it's like a bunch of gay parents, and they're looking to buy that.
It's not true.
I think
watch a bunch of videos on Twitter about this. There's people going into Targets all over the place, screaming at the employees, which I don't agree with, screaming at the employees, how do you support this?
I'm going to go to my Target tomorrow and look for this. Specifically look and upload it to Chris and Dan.
I'm just saying, I think in any market, for a child to have some sort of like, at Target, Satan, devil, art, or pick your own gender, that is crossing the line. That's just my opinion.
I don't disagree. I don't disagree. I'm just giving you their rationale. Like, they're not rolling this out nationwide.
No. Their rationale is, let's get some hype about this. Let's be honest. right?
So-
Just like CNN picking Trump. Why the hell would
No,
CNN
their
do
rationale.
a town hall
No.
about Trump?
I think their rationale, because I doubt this is promoted on their socials, like Target's own socials, unless it's in a paid ad.
Well,
Their
yeah,
rationale
I would
is
agree
in
with
West
that.
Hollywood, in San Francisco, where we know there's a huge percentage of gay and LGBTQ parents. Let's keep those people happy. Whereas in Yuma, Arizona, and Coto de Casa, we're not going to dare do this there.
So again, that's
Yeah,
not
so do
true.
they sell
are
Trump
doing
hats?
it. They are
Huh?
doing it. It's not true. They are
Hats
doing
in
it.
red states?
I'm going to go tomorrow to my Yuma, Arizona one, and I'm going to look for anything controversial. And if I can't find anything,
So,
I'll ask for the manager
you're
and
probably-
I'll upload it to.
You're probably a little late because yesterday Target came out and their executives were all shutting this down because they said we're becoming the next Bud Light. But
That's a good
you know,
sign.
They knew this
I'd
was
like to
going to
circle-
happen. I mean,
I'd like
come
to
on.
circle back to. I got to get off here in a minute, so I'd like to circle back to my
No.
point real quick. And if I were Trump and DeSantis, I would say what's going to take 12 years to get rid of this nonsense, to correct this in all stages of government. So it's going to take 12 years. So I'll be on for 4. Trump president, DeSantis my vice president. He'll follow me up with 8 years of taking care of this. That's the push I would just get on right now, because
Not bad.
Joy's right. Children. It's all about the kids. People are really getting upset about the stuff that's being pushed in the schools.
I agree too. I agree
Left
too.
or right?
I
And it's
don't
gonna take 12
disagree.
years.
I don't disagree with that's like personally. I think that's ridiculous to have that, but I'm trying to see their side of it from a business sense. Like they have markets. They can't treat every
Marketing.
market the same. Like
Well-
Walmart doesn't either. Costco doesn't either.
Don't disagree with that, but why are you pushing? So, okay, I'm gonna have to be a little late for my Annie meeting,
So
but
someone
Just
would
tell
have
that
to
guy
give me
that
a
you're running
strong-
late.
so I mean, really, if you think about it, and I know I've texted you this, but they are pushing Satanism. I mean, the rainbow was a symbol of God, right? Supposedly, whether you believe in the Bible or
I'm
not.
so confused by that.
Rainbow was created by God as a promise not to do something again. So now
Exactly.
LGBTQ
It's
is
a
absolutely
Christian
claiming the
symbol.
rainbow, right?
Taste the
Then
rainbow.
pride,
So
then
funny.
the movement is called pride. That's one of the 7 deadly sins, right? Talks about how pride is a deadly sin in the Bible. So again, in your
And then
faith-
the pronouns when demons are mentioned in the Bible, they use
Yeah.
the they them.
yep.
I know. I heard a lot of this stuff.
So I mean, it's all about taking on Satanism, right? And speaking of which, so I designed this flag. I'm thinking about releasing this. Here, I'm gonna share my screen.
Do it.
again.
Good thing it's on Chris and Dan show.
Dude, Chris, I love what you're sharing, bro.
So I'm gonna create this flag.
Not today, Satan. Satan. Well, you know what? Honestly,
Dude,
like
Chris,
there's
will you
there's
share-
members
can you
of
send that to
the
me?
What's that,
That's
Joy?
amazing. Dude, you're cracking me up. Can you share that with me?
I'm gonna put that on a flag and fly it at my house.
Oh,
Make
damn,
that
dude,
flag.
that is funny. Yeah, we're taking it back. Oh, man.
I'm look. This country was founded on Christianity, so
Yep.
It was.
I mean, we have to
Hey,
respect
And
that.
praise God.
Yeah, as the
we have
least
freedom
Christian, as
under
the
the
least
founding
Christian
fathers.
member of this show by far. I'm not a Satanist. I believe in God, and Christianity is what I was born into, even though it's from a Orthodox side. Same thing.
Mm.
It's these things like when you allow other cultures in, you're gonna get an influx of diversity of religions, and you know it wasn't an issue with the Italians
fine.
because they were Catholic. But with
Yeah.
you know the new wave and with Hispanics, they're usually Catholic, but the new wave, Muslim, Hindu, Buddhist, like Jewish
Yeah,
people.
what do they talk about gays?
None of them.
Dan, go ahead and share what you like to say about your positive vibes from Seattle.
Man, I mean, it's oh yeah. So
You're up.
well, here's the thing, guys. Like, and I mentioned this to you guys privately, but like, you have a lot of people anti-pharma and after COVID, right? But we don't have to get into private stuff, but we're all on meds. I'm on lisinopril, which is a blood pressure lowering agent, and I'm glad I am. I also take metformin off label to keep my A1C in check, and there's some life extension properties. And Pfizer, who everyone hates, is the maker of Viagra, and a lot of anti-Pfizer people are on it. And it's generic now, so it doesn't have to be through Pfizer, but we would have never had it if it wasn't for Pfizer. So, not to be the apologist for Big Pharma, they don't need more support, but they're not all bad, Like,
So,
it's not binary like 1 and 0. They're
well,
businesses.
I have thoughts on that.
I don't disagree, but quick question on the options you gave there, I guess. So people who are opposed or more opposed to the vaccine, do you think there's a difference between taking a pill and taking a shot? Because I do.
Of course, but I mean, and there's also shots intramuscular, there's reverse transcriptase injections, there's subcutaneous insulin. I mean, shots are all antipsychotics or keeping schizophrenics stable. There's all
Sure,
kinds
but
of shots that work really well.
you use the example of Viagra.
Well,
So
Viagra's a pill. If they had a shot
exactly.
for them, I don't think they need one. It's just a pill.
Sure, but my point is, I think an injection can be much more damaging in terms of absorption and potential changes to DNA. I don't think that could happen since DNA is a protein, taking it as a pill, right? I don't think.
No, only RNA vaccines are DNA altering.
Sure. So why can't you put that into whatever you want if it's getting injected?
Well, they have to disclose. Like, they still
Not
have to disclose
necessarily.
the ingredients. The FDA, you can criticize the FDA a lot. They still do. The
So
majority of their activities are still positive for
I'm being the
consumers.
protagonist here. That's not entirely true, right? Especially if it's coming from China.
Well, if it's coming from China, they actually have to
China.
be even stricter. I'm doing a study with a Chinese company right now, and the FDA holds them not even higher standards than
Certainly.
U.S. companies.
But
I
what's
wonder why.
Exactly.
what's to say what's presented to the FDA is different than what's put into a vial?
Chris, they have chemists that like reverse engineer this shit at the FDA.
And you think that happens?
It's
Again,
I
I'm
know
just
it
being the
happens.
protagonist. I'm being the protagonist, but I
You
think
can
there's
be
a
a
way,
protagonist all you
Well,
want.
there's a
There's
way to
chemists.
introduce this.
So I know what Dan is saying.
I do too.
Dan, you're saying that. Oh, go ahead, Chris.
I was just going to say, I'm sure there's a way around any of this.
Yeah.
A way.
Well, and
There
Dan, I
not
know
gonna
what
be a
you're
way
saying.
around reverse engineering the
Bribing
formula.
somebody
No.
at the FDA, obviously they've been bribed. No?
Sure, you could bribe them, but why would they bribe? Why would they accept it? I mean, if this mRNA stuff is real, it's gonna backfire on the FDA, on the NIH, on Big Pharma. And there's been like accusations here and there. There's evidence of the lipid nanoparticles being bad. There's evidence that the
But
reverse
hasn't the
transcriptase.
vaccine backfired on them? The COVID vaccine.
But if they're
backfired
putting
on them?
poisons in this stuff, people would be dying like crazy numbers from the vaccine.
No, not poison. Not poison. I'm not talking poison.
But aren't people dying? I mean, it's not like a blood streak, but
People are dying. People are dying, but
people
there's
have
this.
died from the vaccine.
People are dying,
Like
and there's
healthy
this.
people.
There's this emphasis on the right or on the anti-vaxxers that everyone who took the vaccine and died somehow it's the vaccine related. It's nonsense because it's the same thing of people dying from COVID that the left used to do. I mean, if like half of the population has COVID or is vaccinated, guess what, guys? Half the population is going to die at some point. And you can twist that to say, oh, well, they're vaccinated or they had COVID. I mean, how many of those are actually you can prove due to the vaccine? When there's blood clots, there's still been blood clots before the vaccine. Young athletes have, maybe they haven't passed away in this level, so there's something there, I think. I'm not a scientist, but there have been athletes fainting pre-vaccine. There's just no one reported on it.
At this rate?
No, probably not. Probably not. There's probably something there.
See, I'm just an average Joe.
There's probably something
you guys
there.
are obviously
Average Joey.
Literally. So you guys have a way, more details on this than I do. But for somebody before COVID, not that we wanted to talk about COVID, I used to, trust your doctor. If someone just told me, hey, get this, I just did it. I didn't question anything. But I think, I'm responsible for myself. And what I mean by that is I should take personal responsibility in getting the information and deciding for myself, not just treat a doctor like God. And I think that the average Joe treated their doctor like God in almost all cases and just did exactly what they said.
They still do.
Now, I don't think you should just say no to everything they said. I think that you should listen to the professional, see if there's any other information you need to get, because oftentimes two doctors can come to two different conclusions.
Oh, two wildly different
I started
ones,
So I got a question.
Yeah, and I started questioning stuff. Oh yeah, go ahead, Chris.
I was just gonna say. So I know, and like we already.
I can still hear. Don't worry, guys.
Okay. So about when the
Like
vaccine first came out, you were considering getting it.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Then you changed your mind and said, "Oh hell no, I'm not getting the vaccine."
Right.
So where are you at now? Would you?
Hell, there's no need. There's no need.
Good
I
question.
understand that, but let's just hypothetically say you did get the vaccine. Would you have any concerns over the fact that you had gotten the vaccine at this point?
Yeah.
Me too. So again, I'm not saying the stuff I'm discussing here. I'm just trying to be the protagonist or the devil's advocate.
Well, which one is it, sir?
I don't.
I'm just messing with you.
I don't necessarily agree with any of that, though. I am concerned about everything I mentioned. I don't think any of these three-letter institutions. I think they're all corrupt now. I think they all are. I would.
That's what got my other video delisted. By the way,
I know.
We can't.
Three-letter agencies.
I'm just saying. I think all three-letter institutions are corrupt in the United States. All of them.
There's corrupt elements in any organization.
Agreed. But I was like Joey.
That's why you need to have checks and balances.
Previously, I believed that the powers that be,
they were for us.
Yeah.
They never were. Newsflash, they never were.
Exactly.
Like, do you know how Pharma started? Do you guys know how Pharma started? Big Pharma. So when they busted Rockefeller in the 1890s for his monopoly, one of the loopholes, we were talking about Tucker Carlson finding a loophole, ain't nothing new. What's this guy's name? I just mentioned
but a J-thing.
Who is that rich dude I just mentioned? Fuck, what's his name?
Rockefeller.
Rockefeller, thank you. When they busted his oil monopoly, one of the loopholes was if you donate to nonprofits for the greater good, you don't have to give us that money. So what he did, he created like nonprofits for the educational system, nonprofits for the healthcare system, a bunch of other nonprofits. So he actually can control more through that than his monopoly ever could. Well, let's talk about the pharma one. Before this nonprofit, which led to the NIH and other things, which ultimately led to the need for the FDA, the paradigm in medicine was keep the person healthy so they don't need medication. That was the paradigm. When he started that, he said, okay, let's find the symptoms and manage those. Not the source of the illness, because that's more on the lines of like holistic. Let's find the symptoms and manage those. And that's how Big Pharma started. So Big Pharma had never had an incentive in keeping people healthy. They've always had an incentive in, well, people are going to get sick. And if it means we got to partner with fast food, so be it. People are not going to be hungry anymore. It's very cheap to get food. So all this stuff goes hand in hand. Big Pharma was never created. So you should have never trusted drug companies. Ever.
Trust drug companies.
Now, I'm not saying they're 100% bad. Like, I think there are things that they do, like you just said, insulin.
Oh, metformin, insulin, I mean, lisinopril.
They're not 100% bad. What I have learned is I need to be cautious. And I wasn't cautious before. That's what I learned.
Yeah. I think we all need to be more informed about what we're taking. Like even lisinopril, I look up And I'm like metformin too. I look up, okay, what's the long-term use? Because they've never done studies on somebody taking lisinopril for 50 years or metformin for 40 years or Cialis for 40 years. Like, what's the long-term effects?
Yeah.
Like, there's no such thing as a biological free lunch. And it's not really the
Right.
pharma's business plan or even why they were created to look out for your long-term effects. They're here
Yeah.
to treat
Yeah.
symptoms.
They expect us to, but unfortunately, we expect them to.
And
so
the
now
intermediary
I
is the
said, not
doctor.
today.
Yeah, the intermediary is
Yeah.
supposed to be your trusted clinician, and there still are plenty of them out there. A hint to anyone
Yes,
watching:
they are.
the better ones are independent, not owned by Kaiser Permanente, and not owned by CVS Health, and not owned by Blue
Yeah.
Shield. All right, they're independent doctors like you can find in your community. They're still out there. They're last of a dying breed, but we need to support them. And then there's a whole another topic
Yeah,
here of the
for
pharmacy
sure.
benefit managers, which are actually more powerful. They negotiate prices with the insurance companies like Walmart, Walgreens. This is why Amazon's trying to get into it, where they negotiate certain drug prices for their users, and that means saying no to certain competitors' drugs. So this is a lot more nuanced than just big pharma's evil
Yeah.
and
Right. Yeah.
FDA's evil, because it's not true. Like, big pharma is not evil. They have a job to do, and they've been doing a really good job at it, actually. That's my take. Doesn't mean you should just
Yeah.
trust anything they say. Like, do you trust anything you hear
Right.
from McDonald's? Like, oh, we made healthier,
Right.
even Diet Coke. You want to get into Diet Coke, which
Yeah.
is supposed to be the healthy alternative?
Don't piss Chris off.
Chris knows, man. Diet Coke, aspartame. Then there was a backlash, aspartame, all the negative effects of on Alzheimer's. If you take aspartame like long term, you're gonna get
Oh.
Alzheimer's. So they pivoted to Coke
Oh,
Zero.
interesting.
Why do you think Coke has Coke Zero and Diet Coke? Like, they're both 0-calorie
Yeah.
drinks. Well, Coke Zero,
Interesting.
anything with zero in it has sucralose. So sucralose is
Mm.
extremely toxic for tumors. So if you pour sucralose on a tumor, it's going to grow. It inhibits the CD8, I think the T cell that prevents uncontrolled growth of cancer cells. And sucralose prevents that. So sucralose, it's not like aspartame where it'll affect your brain that we know, but it affects something else. But these are labeled like healthy alternatives. And so it's not just
right.
big pharma, it's
What
it's
is
everyone.
happening.
It's everyone.
Yeah.
These are just tools.
Yeah.
Like, and there's a place you can drink. I don't think anything's wrong if you drink an occasional Diet Coke, but a lot of people use that as a free pass to just drink a 12-pack a day because it's diet and I'm on a diet. Like, that used to be
Right.
me too. I used to do that. Like, hey, I'm gonna have.
Right.
I remember you and I went
Yeah.
door knocking. I was like, oh, I'm on a
Dude.
diet, but I'm gonna get this Coke Zero
Me
because
too.
it's not gonna break my
Yeah.
fast. Yeah, you with the diet
Right.
do, right? Like,
Hey,
same
shut up.
shit, man. That had aspartame. It's the same shit, but like, people are not
Yeah.
educated, and I think we need to come back to a
Right.
time, whether it's about real estate or healthcare
That's right.
or guns or Target selling LGBTQ stuff. Just get educated on these things.
Yeah. Yeah.
That's my whole
I
point.
definitely agree. Hey, real quick before we go,
I want to do a reaction.
we could do that.
Okay.
Real estate in the stock market. So let's start with stocks.
Stonks.
Seem to be doing okay. They're up, yeah. They're up year to date. You know, we're still trying to get back to where we were in 2021 towards the end. Are you buying stocks right now?
In my retirement, yes. In my wife's retirement, no. I'm more conservative in hers than mine. And not surprisingly, she's doing a lot better. Well, she is he.
For right now.
No pronouns, but that's me.
Dude,
But
I
yeah,
bet you shop at Target.
I actually do. My wife doesn't like it. She's like, I hate Target. She
really?
not because of this, but she would like it even less now. But
Smart.
that's
No.
I still go, man. It's for convenience. But I don't think it's time to buy risky stuff. Like traditional companies, cash on cash, and like big pharma. I mean, it's not bad to buy big pharma stocks right now. Like Pfizer's coming off record last 2 years, and they're going to be the beneficiaries of a lot of these biotechs going out of business, and then Pfizer's going to come buy all their assets and leverage the promising ones. So certain stocks, yes. I still like to fuck around though, and so I like risk. Like there's some biotechs I'm looking at, AQST, which should be a good one. This is not financial advice.
AQST?
Yeah, this is not financial advice for anyone, but it's Aquestive Therapeutics.
Right.
And then CUBT is interesting. Curative Biotech. So like stuff like that. If you have deeper domain knowledge than the average investor, I think you should invest in that domain.
Okay.
So you would be like real estate would be perfect, like tech, but you know how to rule out like the fluff from the hype from like the stuff that you actually think could work. And I think your opinion's better than the average investor in that stuff. And I think I'm that in biotech. But yeah, you got to invest in what you know. And if it's risky, you got to invest in what you know. If it's not risky, like if it's Amazon or Pfizer,
right, Apple, yeah.
Apple, I mean, that's pretty much everyone's kind of their own expert on those things. That's my take on the stocks.
Right.
But we're nowhere near like out of this mess. It could get worse too.
Okay. Do you think it's over the next couple of years? So let's say throughout this year, till the end of December, do you think the market's going to be down from where we started, or up?
Choppy, very choppy.
Okay.
It's going
so kind
into
of more
an election
the same.
year. Interest rates, no signs of coming down. Election year coming up.
Seriously.
So that's all uncertainty, right? That's like all volatile.
Right.
That's not to mention anything about World War III or about AI displacing jobs. And then this wealth inequality gap, it's gonna get a lot worse. It was already very bad. Like it's gonna approach French Revolution numbers.
Yeah.
At some point, and if you throw AI into it, where white collar people are gonna go out, like you're a realtor, man. Yeah, like, I mean, we're even looking at it in research. Like certain jobs in research might be gone soon. Like chemist. I was talking about reverse engineering molecules or like discovering molecules. Like you used to have chemists do this stuff. Like, well, they have like this library of molecules. And they would mix things to see like in theory how it would work, and then they would do it in a test tube. Well, now the AIs are doing it for them. Like you don't need people to think anymore. The AI already knows this one goes with this one. In theory, it could do this. So instead of needing like, let's say 10 chemists at a biotech, you may only need like 2 that know how to use the AI really well and get the same output, maybe more. But and then the argument is, well, that could create more jobs. It just won't be like the chemists. It might be like the auditors, and that's the positive side of that. The negative side is, hey, net, it's gonna displace more jobs, and it should make things cheaper though. But like we haven't talked about those two things and how that impacts the economy, because that AI stuff's moving fast.
It seems to be, yeah. Yeah, no, it definitely seems to be. Yeah, I'm curious how it plays out into other
Are there AI stuff? There's got to be AI stuff in real estate.
I mean, I'm using it to write property descriptions. I just posted a listing live on Monday, and I used ChatGPT to write the property description.
Do you think other elements of what you do? Any like right now that AI could, in theory at least?
I think some people, are thinking that realtors are going to be completely out of the scene, kind of like
travel agents.
Thank you, travel agents. And I am biased. I just don't necessarily think that's going to happen. Mainly because, like, my argument would be 2 things. One is everybody and their mother would need to feel comfortable doing their taxes by a computer without a professional. And I tried that once. It was chaos for me. And this was when I was very basic. So,
Oh yeah, we're not
look at how
ready
many
for that.
LLCs I mean, think of how long, in my opinion, that would need to happen for like 50 years before a realtor is completely out of the picture. So
Yeah.
I think it's going to be a while. Again, I am very, very biased. I'm a realtor, so but I also have a little bit more, and I think the second thing. So the first thing is the tax thing. Second thing is, the second thing is I just forgot my second thing. Is that it's a very emotional process, and it's the generally the most expensive financial decision someone's going to make, and doing your taxes online
And it's getting
for
more
$300.
expensive. It's getting more expensive too.
Yeah. So, but we'll see. I think it's going to enhance what I'm doing. Like, dude, I just saved an hour or two writing a property description that I dreaded. I hated that dang thing. So I think it's going to enhance me, and maybe some of the people that support the professional, they might, maybe ChatGPT does the TC work, in the future. And then so bam, I just saved that fee, so I think some of the other support roles, just like what you said with the stuff with the example in clinical research, dude, that's more of a support role. So I could think, okay, yeah, you can, you can use AI to help out with that. And but yeah, we'll see. I'm looking forward to seeing how I'm embracing it. I use ChatGPT every single day. So.
Yeah, I use it almost every day. I was just curious in real estate because I haven't been following like tech developments in real estate. I know that before COVID or during COVID, there was that one SPAC that our friend Eric liked. What was it? What that you put like the camera in the middle of the house and it does a 360 photos of every room, and it was meant for like virtual tours. Matterport. What happened to that thing?
Yeah. Actually, yeah, dude, I don't know. I haven't
belly up, man.
That.
Or maybe it's still doing well. I don't know.
I would think if it's doing really well, we would. I would have.
You'd be using it already, right?
Heard about it, but we should ask Eric. Yeah, I should ask him.
I think a lot of those specs got screwed over, man. During the bubble.
Well, it's right. Yeah, right. Well, yeah, dude. Look at, speaking of screwed over, Peloton, Zoom, what we're using right now. Dang, man.
I still think Zoom
Peloton's
is
down 80%.
I actually think Peloton might be a good buy, and so is Zoom. But people are starting to go back to the gyms too. I thought the
same thing. I thought the same thing. I'm like, dang, dude, Peloton's down 80%. Should I buy some more? But what if we see more of the same? I just don't know. I think it's a risky play, but it seems to be a good buy to where it was at a couple of years ago.
Yeah, that's the only one in my wife's portfolio, and she picked those two. Because sometimes I ask her, what do you want? And she wanted Peloton, and at one point she wanted Beyond Meat. And Beyond Meat had a moment where they were really good, and they just tanked. Those are the two she done bad. The rest she has Wells Fargo, American Express, Apple, Google, Microsoft, Costco, like safe stuff.
Yep.
Yeah. And mine is like biotech and tech. And I have Amazon, but I have early Amazon.
So when you're 70,
I'll still have Amazon.
How much? Right. When you're 70, whether it be how many properties would you like, rental properties would you like to have, or you could answer it, how much like money do you want to make off of your real estate monthly when you're 70?
Well, to at least like the passive incomes to at least maintain my lifestyle. And then I was going to use, I'm not banking on the IRA to survive, God willing. I mean, we all have planned till, you get punched in the face, but my goal is to have my IRA just be my fuck around money when I'm old. Like,
nice.
Go on a trip, buy a RV, like simple shit. I'm not trying to use it to eat, God willing, but
Right.
yeah, passive real estate, I would hope to be able to generate enough passive income from that and from a few of my businesses. And I think a few of my brands, like honestly, the YouTube and whatever the next iteration of YouTube is, like as a content
Right.
creator, I don't think I'll stop being a
Right.
content creator. Even
I
after I'm
agree.
70, man. Like if you build
Right.
a personal brand, let's say AI can do what I do. Well,
Right.
okay, you can make it AI do and say what I say, but can you make it change topics? Like, can you make it do
Right.
biotech? Can you make it? And I think there will
Or
have to
just
be
give your
laws.
opinion.
Yeah, but there will also have to be laws. Like when AI gets that good to where it can interpret you, like be you. I think they will make laws that would, there'd be disclaimers. This is not the real Dan. This is an AI, and the people will always. I think the people will always want the real humans, at least in
I
our
agree.
lifetimes. I don't know about our
Especially for this
grandkids.
stuff.
Yeah, I don't know about
Yeah.
our grandkids. Because, see, our grandkids might be like, well, I like Dan and Joey and Chris on this shit. But, like, they fuck around too much. I want to just hear the important stuff in like 5 minutes. And maybe that's an AI will do it, and like maybe to them that's better. Now the question is, do you get royalties off of that? Maybe. I don't know. But I do think there's a place for AI even like replicating us. But for the people, there's always going to be that subset, at least in our lifetime, that's going to want the real one. With despite our flaws, and sometimes because of our flaws.
Yeah. Okay, so what I heard you say, when you're 70, at least have real estate be paying for, your living expense, right? Your cost of living,
Yeah,
your
at least.
lifestyle is what I
Yeah,
heard.
yeah,
At least. Okay, cool.
yeah.
If not more, and then
And the
you see yourself
businesses, it
still
would be
making
nice to
content.
get just the passive income from real estate to do that, and then the businesses are just to invest in other stuff, or by then probably have a
Dude,
trust.
I bet you will. Yeah.
I hope so, man. I mean, yeah, you can just hope. And
You will.
back to religion, like, pray. I mean, I pray every now and then too. And it's like, there's got to be a God. I'm convinced of that.
Yes. That's good. Now you said trust. I just Blair and I just actually opened a trust. We have kids now.
As soon as you have
So,
kids, man, that's like a game changer right there. So yeah, that'll probably be me
well,
when
and
we
dude,
have kids.
all the assets too. It's like I've heard, especially in California, probate's expensive. So if we pass away
Yeah.
and with businesses and LLCs and properties, it's just I'd rather not have my wealth, even if I have a little bit. I'd rather my wealth not go to fees and the government. If I can help it.
Yeah, but see, I think that in the short term, federal taxes are just going to have to go up. This is why I think you're going to have like there's going to be some unrest before things start getting better.